There is a bit of a conversation going on the socials recently about opportunities for kids and students when it comes to volunteering in our region, particularly around Seymour. The questions were being asked. We know volunteering is a great way for young people to gain experience and confidence, but some parents weren't quite sure where to look for those opportunities and what would best suit their kids. Sara Sterling is from Volunteering Victoria. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Joe.
Do you get a lot of people asking about volunteering opportunities for kids and how to go about that?
We do. And look, in general, volunteering opportunities that are formal with an organisation often start from 15 plus, but that doesn't stop you from getting involved as volunteering with your family. And there are plenty of ways that you can cultivate a volunteering spirit with your child from earlier on. That might be participating in local events, things like a Clean Up Australia Day, even participating in, raising funds for a school walkathon. These are all things you can do, have conversations as a family, even engage in a local bake sale, make a lemonade stand, raise money for a cause that you care about.
Absolutely, and we know that a lot of the emergency services groups are very friendly towards families and younger people and have it like a youth sort of strand sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to think about, have conversations as a family about how you give your time. This might be contributing to your local sports club and doing work behind the scenes, or it might be going to an old aged care home and visiting someone who might be more socially isolated. Talk to your kids about what they're comfortable doing and think about activities that you can engage in together. Volunteering is... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I guess there are, I guess parents, maybe the issue is more kind of the organisations, because I know these days there's lots of legalities around age and what sort of work people can do, but also, working with children, qualifications, all that sort of thing.
Yes. So... all organisations who are supporting younger people to volunteer, they will be complying with the child safe standards. But as a parent, if you're seeking volunteer opportunities for your children, you can ask questions. You can make sure your kids are covered by insurance. You should be able to get an overview of what your kids will be engaged in when they're talking to a volunteer involving organisation about volunteering. In general, there are some parameters about what organisations, in terms of best practice, can ask kids to do, and often that's things like time limits. So times of day that they might volunteer, so not before 6 a.m. and not after 6 p.m. or sunset, and, sort of around 3 hours per day during school term, or 6 hours per day over the school holidays. So it really doesn't interfere with a kid's participation in education. So remember that just because you're giving your time, it doesn't mean that you can't ask questions about what the experience is going to be like and how you can support your child. Yeah,
and I reckon probably interests, what interests the child is going to be really important as well, in terms of particularly if they're into sports and if they're volunteering at the local sports group or even with their own clubs. That's really helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Follow your child's interests. If they're into, musical theatre and productions, there are plenty of ways that you can volunteer for a local theatre troupe. Similarly with sport, we know that so many of these organisations wouldn't exist without the support of volunteer effort. Local scouting troops, Girl Guides, emergency services. And like I said, talk to your kids about what's going on in the world. It may be that they hear about, some of the natural disasters that we've been seeing. They want to raise money to support emergency services. That's a really, really great start, and it fosters a volunteer spirit, gives kids a sense of agency, and volunteering is such a great way to build skills that will help assist kids later on in life.
Absolutely. And we know that the numbers of volunteers in adults has really dropped off, and there is an ageing kind of population with volunteerism. So getting kids involved as young as, well, not as young as possible, but, as youngsters is a great thing. It provides kind of a lifetime opportunity, I guess, maybe to continue volunteering.
Absolutely. I started volunteering at 16 and totally caught the bug, and now I work in an industry that supports volunteering. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what's going on across our state, if your listeners are, Volunteering Victoria just released a State of Volunteering report, which looks at some of the changes and shifts of what's happening in volunteering. And, you know, while numbers are declining a little bit, they're also transforming. You know, the way in which we volunteer changes. You know, 5 years ago, practically no one would have volunteered online. Now there are actually a number of people accessing volunteer opportunities online because, you know, those things change and evolve. So I'd really plug that. We've also pulled out a youth snapshot of that report. So some figures that are directly related to young and student volunteers. So if anyone wants to check that out, they're available on the Volunteering Victoria website.
Fantastic. I hadn't even thought about the volunteering online that you could do. Yeah, it's a different kind of way of doing it.
Yep. And it is actually, well, obviously there are challenges with digital safety as well.
Yes.
That's another way that you as perhaps an adult can support, you know, that is a way to more easily monitor any volunteering that your child is doing, because they won't be leaving home to do it. So there are so many more ways in which volunteering is evolving and changing, and it's, you know, efforts are being made to make sure that the benefits of volunteering are able to be accessed by everyone.
Terrific. All right, Volunteering Victoria, good place to go, the website there. Thank you so much, Sara.
Thank you so much, Jo. Cheers. Have a great day.
You too. That is Sara Sterling, their Senior Manager with Volunteering Victoria. And as she mentioned, a bit of a snapshot recently looking at the state of volunteering in the state, available at their website, Volunteering Victoria.